Okay, good afternoon. Shirs Eli Nishmas, Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak, Osher Shmachayim and Ephraim V'Tziona, Osher ben Yosef, William and Helen, Rochel bas Yosef, David ben Abraham, Sida ben Chaim Pesach, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Torah bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Ruben ben Shmuel, Chana Golda bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Mordechai Yitzchak ben Rivka, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, and Amichai ben Yaakov, Leila Nishmatam. Today we're going to do the Parsha and the Haftorah, how it ties into current events. The Torah gives the names of the spies. And the good spy, his name was Kalev, which is the same root as the word Kelev. Isn't it bizarre that this great tzaddik, the good spy, that tzaddik has a name like a dog? Masha, isn't that bizarre? So the Talmud explains, why is a dog called a dog? He's kuloi leiv. You gotta have heart, lots and lots of heart. You look at a dog, he's kuloi leiv. His entire heart is only for his master. That's a dugma that our entire heart should be for our master. Everything in the physical world reminds us how to serve God. You look at the loyalty of a dog, kuloi leiv, to his master. So that's just a dugma that our entire leiv should be for our master. And that was this tzaddik's tafkid. Our leiv should be loyal to God, just like a dog is loyal to his master. We should be loyal to our master. So that was his name, Kalev. Then the Torah gives the names of the other spies. And then the Torah gives instructions what Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Meraglim. If you look about Midbar 13, Pasuk 19, if there's books there, you want to use the books. But Midbar 13, Pasuk 19, he says, and what is the earth that he lives there? Yoshev ba. Ba means what? Her. Ba. Beis hey. Hatova imra. Is it good or is it evil? So it looks like Moshe Rabbeinu Nechama opens up a Pandora's box, suggesting that Pisgat Zev can be evil. He says, is the land tova or ra? And then he tells them in verse 20, by Midbar 13:20, what is the land? Is it fat or skinny? This chazaktem, strengthen yourself and take from the priya oretz. Strengthen yourself, take your vitamins and carry from the fruits of the land. Now we know the Torah, Rabbi Ruben, is not a history book. The Torah is God's GPS for today. What does he tell them? Take your vitamins, chazaktem, and make sure you can carry the fruit of the land. And how could Moshe suggest that the land is what? Evil? Very strange. So the Zohar Kodesh says something incredible. On a deeper level, God is speaking to us. All of us are really spies. Look at the text, incredible, in the Hebrew. Moretz Ashehu Yoshev Ba. What is the earth? Yoshev Ba. What does Ba mean? Her. The soul is feminine. The Zohar teaches God is speaking to us. You hear this? God sends us down to earth on a mission. Each spy wears a cloak. Cloak and dagger? What's our cloak, Chanoch? The bodysuit. Yiddish, Maddie? The Zohar says that Pasuk 19 and 20, by Midbar 19 and 20, God is speaking to us. He sends us down to earth. Yoshev Ba. Yoshev Ba. We're going to dwell. Who's the Ba? The godly soul is feminine. Beis is feminine. Hatov Ra. When you come down to earth, we have to decide, are we going to do Tov, or are we going to do Ra? We make the call. So our guf is only a disguise. It's the cloak that the soul wears. We are all spies, sent down on a secret mission. Mission impossible. Mission possible. The body is a cloak, is a disguise that the soul wears. I'm a soul man. We have to decide when we come down to earth, will we do tova or will we do ra? It's up to us. And look at Pasuk 20. V'schazaktem. God said, strengthen yourself. Ulakachtem et priya oretz. What are the priya oretz? What are the fruits of the earth? Mitzvahs u'maisim tovim. Strengthen yourself, God says. When you're disguised in your bodysuit, you're a spy on a mission. The mission is what, Sarah? To take the priya oretz. What are the priya oretz? What are the fruits of the earth? Mitzvahs u'maisim tovim. To take with you. Isn't that incredible?
Cloak.
The cloak is the bodysuit.
But it's also a garment. And we say we have the garments of the soul, thought.
That's right.
Therefore, to be used to conceal.
Beautiful. Therefore, when Lo Yaleinu, a person dies, why does the relative rip the clothes? As the Kabbalah teaches, that's a great comfort for the relative. My relative, his body is all torn. But that's not him. That's his shirt. When Lo Yaleinu, a relative tears kriya for a dead person, Rabbi Abraham Lo Yaleinu, it's a nachama. My relative looks like he's all torn and broken, but that's not him. That's his shirt. Is the shirt me? When I tear my shirt, that's not me. That's a cloak that I wear. The broken, torn body is not me either. That's just the disguise that the soul wears in order to accomplish her mission on earth. Therefore, Yoshev Ba. Ba is feminine. We have to strengthen ourselves not to fall for the Ra. That's our choice. Choose Tov or Ra. Your mission, Mr. Phelps, if you choose it. Your mission. Ulakachta mipriya aretz. Take the fruit of the land. What are the fruit of the land, Ruvain? Mitzvahs u'maisim tovim.
Even Mr. Phelps had free will.
Free will to choose Tov or Ra.
Decide not to take the bishop.
There's an incredible Maral Mi Prague in 1572. He must have had Ruach HaKodesh. He says, anti-Semitism is so totally irrational. It makes no sense. They hate and they fear the Jews simultaneously. There's loathing and fear. Hitler and the Nazis, they loathed the Jew, but they feared the Jew. Read Mein Kampf. Read the writings of Joseph Goebbels. The Jew was hated, but he was feared. It makes no sense. The mightiest army in the world, Nazi Germany, was afraid of the Jew who had no army, had no country. It's totally irrational. It makes no sense. So the Maral Mi Prague in 1572, what is this loathing and fear of that the Goy has of the Jew, which makes no sense? What's the explanation? Says the Maral Mi Prague, I'll put it in my language. Do you ever see the movie It Came from Outer Space?
What?
It Came from out. I'm dating myself. It's a B movie, 1956. It Came from Outer Space. It came from outer space. Says the Maral. The Goy knows that we are an alien implant. We're not creatures of this world. We're chelik Elohim imal. We are aliens masquerading in a human body. They sense that, says the Maral. We're not creatures of this earth. We're a godly soul. We're sent down on a secret mission wearing a bodysuit. The Goy says we're body snatchers. They sense that. And that explains not just the hatred, but the fear. It came from outer space. So that's what we are. We are an alien implant, sent down on earth in a bodysuit to do a mission. But we're not creatures of this world. We are creatures of eternity. Don't confuse me with my bodysuit. I'm a soul man. Okay? Now, the Torah goes on. The Torah goes on, and by the way, the first double agent, the original 007 was Kalev ben Yefuna. Rashi says, if you look at Bamidbar 14:24, Bamidbar 14:24, God says, my servant Kalev, Ruach Acheret, he had two spirits with him. Rashi explains that he was the original 007. Reuben, it's amazing, got everything from us. Right? Kalev told the Meraglim, I'm with you. But actually he was with God. He played the double game to get the jump on them. So Ruach Acheret Imo, he was the secret agent, maybe a double or triple agent, in order to gain the confidence of the Meraglim, in order to be able to what? To defeat them. So he played along with them. But it's amazing, where do you learn a minion from? Where do you learn you need 10 people for a minion? Bamidbar 14, Pasuk 27. Bamidbar 14, Pasuk 27, God says, how long will I suffer this evil congregation? Says Rashi, Mikan le'eda shi'asara. The evil congregation was how many? 10. So the Maral Miprag says, if you want to look for a minion, you got to go fishing to evil people. Why can't you go fishing to the Charedim? You want to roll a minion. Why is the source for a minion dafke 10 wicked people? That's the source for a minion. If there are 9 Shas guys in a room, can you make a minion? No. If there are 10 Reform Jews in a room, you have a minion. Yes. That's incredible. You can have 9 Vilna Gaons in a room. You can have 9 holy Moseses in a room. Can you say Kaddish? No. 10 Reform Jews in a room? Yiskadal, Yiskadash, Shemei Rabbah. So the source of a minion is Dafke de Eida Hara. Whether they're sinners or not, if 10 Jews come together right now, you have a minion. You can sanctify God's name in public. Rabbi. So people ask, Ruvain, how come ladies don't have a minion? You're going to ask that question. What, discriminate against women?
We didn't partake in the song.
Beautiful. Says Rabbeinu Bechai in the year 1069, whatever. He says the minion that we daven is to fix the Meraglim. The 10 Meraglim desecrated God's name when they spoke against Pisgat Zev. You speak against Israel, you speak against God. So we need 10 guys to minion Hayim Etaken Echil Hashem Yiskadal Yiskadash Shemei Rabbah. Since women never sin with the Meraglim, Sarah says the Rabbeinu Bechai, before women's live, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not that women can't be a minion. They don't need a minion. The minion is to fix the Chet HaMeraglim, 10 for 10. Since women never participate in the Chet HaMeraglim, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if women daven with a minion, they're lowering themselves. They don't realize that. Reuven, some people just say, don't confuse me with the facts.
Rabbi?
Just the facts, ma'am. Who said that? Joe Friday.
That's right.
Dragnet. Just the facts. See that? The facts. Go ahead.
Yeah. So also, don't you learn out, you said about the 10 in the Hebrew congregation, and that everybody's necessary. But don't you also learn that from the 11 spices? Because one of the spices was a real...
Beautiful, Reuven. Reuven is quoting Tractate Creasus, page 6. Baruch Hashem, I took my spirulina this morning. Creasus, page 6. The 11 herbs and spices. You know, the KFC, they got it from us, Maddie. The 11 herbs and spices. 10 of them smell delicious. One was, ooh, disgusting smell. So why is that in the mix? So the Talmud says, that's the wicked Jews. Even the wicked Jews who smell bad, they're part of the Ketoret. And if they're not there, you can't do the Avodah. God needs every Jew, even though he doesn't smell good, physically or spiritually. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew, and he's part of the mix. Achat osa samanim. Even the foul-smelling, the sinner, has to be in the Ketoret, which is the highest service. And if he's not there, God says, forget it, I don't need the Charedim either. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew. Let's not forget that. So the source for a minyan is dafket those 10 sinners. But women never sinned with the meraglim, so they don't need the tikkun of what? Of the minyan. Now, there's a verse in Tehillim 78 speaking about the Dor HaMidbar. The Dor HaMidbar, they had everything. They had the Anania Kovod, they had Dan Quayle, they had the Mun, they had Moshe and Aaron, right? They saw the Shechina, yet Psalm 78 says, Vayichal Bahevel Yameim. They ended their days in vanity. Why is it vanity? It's a Dor Deya. They saw God face to face. The Shechina, Moshe, Aaron, everything. Why did Psalm 78 say they ended their days in vanity? They had the Mishkan, the Anania Kovod. But they didn't have Ashkelon. They didn't have Pisgat Zev. If you didn't have Israel, everything else incredible. Look at Psalm 78. It's all called Hevel. And they're called the Dor Sorer Moreh. A rebellious generation, but it's a Dor Deya. They got the Torah, they heard and they saw God speaking to them face to face. And yet it's called a generation of vanity. It was the best of times and the worst of times. Who said that? Literally, the best of times and the worst of times. The best of times, they had the Shekhinah, Anania Kovod, Moshe, Aaron, but they didn't have Pisgat Zev. So it was the worst of times. I mean Ashkelon. So it was the worst of times. And it's all called Hevel. It's all called Hevel. What does Hevel mean? Gunishvet. How do you say that in English? Despite the Shekhinah, the Mishkan, Moshe, Aaron, the two greatest Rosh Kolel. You're never going to have two Rosh Hashivas as great as Moses and Aaron. Never. But you didn't have Arman on Siv, right?
Sorry?
Where do you live?
Arman.
You didn't have Arman and Siv, so therefore it's called Hevel. Psalm 78. Wow. So let's appreciate that we have everything because what? We have Eretz Yisrael. Let's take a look at the Haftorah and see how it ties in, of course, with what? Current events. The Haftorah, I don't know, we in the book, in the back of the blue books there, it's the Haftorah of Shlach Lecha. It's Joshua 2. Joshua 2. In the Art Scroll, it's in the back of the book, I think it's 1182 or something there, in the back of the Art Scroll blue book. The Haftorah, which one? 1184 in the Art Scroll. And in the Birnbaum, it's the end of Parshas Shlach, it's the Haftorah Parshas Shlach. Yeshua ben Nun sends 2 spies. Now I don't get it. Didn't he remember what happened 39 years ago? His master Moses sent spies 39 years ago. A terrible disaster played against him. Why is he doing it again? Nechama, this is a good tekasha. Yeshua ben Nun, he was 39 years ago. He didn't remember what happened? A disaster. So why does he do it again? But this time he does it cheresh. What does cheresh mean, Chaya? QT. Unlike the first time, Moshe had a press conference, big publicity campaign, the Meraglim. If you want a project to be successful in life, buddy, don't brag, don't boast, don't call press conferences. Cheresh. He did it what? I think it's called in English on the QT. But that just begs the question, why send them? Didn't he trust God?
Why did he send them?
Didn't he trust God, Masha? Shul Benun. The answer is, the way you broke it, you've got to fix it. You see this, Sarah? You know that. They sinned with the Meraglim. The way you sin is the way you repair the damage. They sin with Meraglim, now there's no choice but what? To send Meraglim and repair the damage. This idea is throughout Judaism. God needs a golden Mishkan with golden lovebirds. Golden lovebirds in the Holy of Holies, gold? No. So the Medrash says, Yovazov Shebe Mishkan, the Chapazov Shebe Egel. The Jews sinned with gold. They made a golden getchka. God says, take gold and do it my way. Da-da-da-da. If the Jews would not have made a golden getchka, Rabbi Abraham, there'd be no need for a Mishkan, the entire universe. See, that's plan A and plan B. See, God has to have a plan B. Why? Because we have free will. It's got to be a plan B. Plan A was, the entire universe should be his Mishkan. Right? The whole world is Mishkan. The Jews made a golden getchka, so God says, oh, we got to go to plan B. You like gold so much? Take gold and do it my way. So the Mishka Oichid good, plan B is also good, same idea. We didn't need no Meraglim, but since they sent Meraglim, and they sinned, now we have to, the only way to repair the damage is by sending Meraglim and being mitaken. The sin is repaired by the same sin. The tikkun comes from the chet.
Wasn't Joshua one of the new ones as well too?
No, he sent two new ones. Right? He sent two new ones. He sent Kalev out of retirement, only 85 years old, and the other one was Pinchas. Right? So the tikkun comes from chet. You sin with gold, you make a golden mishkan. You sin with meraglim, you send meraglim. But if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Right, Sarah? So there's always a plan B. God has to have a plan B, Chaya. Why? Because we have free will. So he has to have a backup plan. Now this idea, so far, they go to the house of a woman called Rachav Zonah. Zonah means a harlot. The beauty of Tanakh is there's no cover-ups, Elisheva. Tell it like it is. There are no cover-ups. They went to this woman who was a Zonah. Why did they go there? Because they figured that there they could hear the gossip, what's going on, you know. I think it's called pillow talk. They could gauge the mood of the country. So they go there and there's no cover-up. The Navi tells it just like it is. So they go to her house. This is a harlot, the lowest woman, an immoral woman. And they go there. And the Talmud says, therefore he called Kalev out of retirement. He's 85 years old. So you can trust him. And he called Pinchas. Pinchas was a zealot. Remember, he made Zimri and Cosby a shiksabab. So, shiksabab, remember that? So he could trust them, right? He couldn't trust anybody else because the Talmud says she was a knockout. This Rachav, you just said her name, you had to take a cold shower. She was a real knockout. So he took Kalev, 85 years old already, you know, and he took Pinchas, and they'd be safe there, and they could gauge the mood of the country through the pillow talk that people say in the parlor there, you know, waiting their turn. Incredible what's going on over here. That's where they go, yes? We're not there yet. Don't steal my thunder. Don't steal my thunder. This woman undergoes an amazing transformation. Incredible. From being a pagan, immoral woman, she transforms herself into the greatest woman. Becomes a righteous convert. She marries Yeshua ben Nun. You imagine the headlines in the Jewish press. Former Madame marries chief rabbi of Israel. And you know who their great-great-grandson was? Jeremiah was a prophet. Not the bullfrog, the prophet. He asked Jeremiah, who was your great-grandma, Jeremiah? The greatest prophet, Jeremiah. My grandma, she was no Bas Yaakov girl. She was Rachav Hazonah. Incredible message here, Ruvain. What's the message? No one can cop out. No one. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. There's no hope for me. I might as well stay in the pool room. Rachav could have remained a Zona, but she chose to change her life instantaneously, like a rocket from the lowest to the highest, to become the grandmother of Jeremiah, the wife of Yeshua ben Nun. What a powerful message.
I don't have a source for this. This is not a gematria and it's not a code.
Go ahead.
Years ago, I'm talking about 20 years ago, I saw the name Rahab, because it's pronounced like Rahab in English, even though it's Karakat. It sounds just like rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, Rachav. She became so great. So great she became.
It also appears there were some holy sparks who distilled the Canaanites because
Yeah.
she was the great grandmother.
Yeah.
Where do we have another Canaanite who also was a Zona that became the mother of Mashiach? Tamar was also a Canaanite.
Tamar. Actually, she wasn't really. She was really the daughter of Shem, but she was not a Canaanite. But she lived there. But anyway, look what she says. Look at this great woman. What she says on verse 11. Ruvain, you see verse 11?
Yeah.
What does she tell the spies? Verse 11. Vanishma, we heard, Vayimas L'Leveinu. Our hearts melted. Loikama od ruach be'ish b'pneichem. No one has any spirit to fight you. Ki Hashem Elokeichem. Hashem your God. Hu Elohim b'shamayim imal v'al-aretz mitachas. Yiddish? This pagan woman undergoes an amazing transformation, acknowledging that the one and only God, the God of Israel, He is the God above, and He is also God below. What does that mean, the God below? Many people think God is too busy. What's going on down here? He's only concerned with the big ticket items. That's what the Meraglim said. God's concerned with the big ticket items. But in the nitty-gritty of what's going on, He's too busy. Rachav Hazona, God is not just Shemayim Imal. Whatever happens down on earth, Nechama, no matter how mundane, we think He's involved. He's involved. Wow. That's what she said. That's what she says. Now, so what happens? So how did she save them? She protected them and she saved them. Verse 15. How did she save them? Vataridem, you see verse 15?
And she let them down by a rope through the window.
She let them down by a rope on the window because her house was what?
Built into the city wall.
The Talmud says that her customers would climb up that red rope. It was the red light district, and they got everything from us. That was a red rope that her customers used to climb through the window to commit immoral acts with her. They were too ashamed to go through the front door. Maybe the wife is watching, or reporters are there, and catch with the pants down. So they snuck through the window with this red rope. And that very red rope she used to what? To save the lives of these two spies. So the Talmud says she used that red rope and window for sin. Now that very red rope, tie a red ribbon around the old. That very red rope and window that she used for immoral purposes, she used to save the lives of whom? Kalev again. And and these two spies say something incredible to her. Look what they say in Pasuk Yud Chet 18. Hine anachtu boyim ba'aretz. We come to the land at tikvat chut hashani hazeh. Tikva, it should have said chut hashani hazeh. This red rope, tie in the window as a sign. What's the word tikva? What? How does the English translate that, Maddie? Hope? No, the English, 18. They don't say hope, do they?
Behold, when we come into the land of the scarlet cord, you shall find a window.
Scarlet cord, that's chut hashani. The word tikva is, what does tikva mean? Your hope for salvation, to free yourself from sin, is to use this very rope that you sinned. Now you're going to use it to save our lives. This will be your tikva, your hope for tshuva. The tikkun comes from the chet. Isn't that incredible? So this very red rope, that's where they get the red light district. I'm not making it up. They get that she used for immoral purposes, and that very same window, now she's using to save the lives of Kalev and Pinchas, and that's her tikva. That's her tshuva, to become the great Rachav, the great grandmother of Yirmiyahu Hanavi. What a powerful message. Now, of course, we know that the Parsha always speaks to what? To current events. The spies. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says that peace now, that's our spies today. Peace Now and J Street, that's our modern day spies.
They don't think we should have.
That's our modern day spies. Now the spies' tafkid was to demoralize us. The modern day Peace Now spies, they say without a PLO terror state, there's no hope for us. We must establish a PLO terror state in the heart of Israel. Otherwise, there's no hope for us. They want to demoralize the Jewish people from within. That's exactly the game plan of what? Of the spies. If we don't surrender our precious land to our PLO peace partners, Abu Mamzer, then we will, what? Cease to be. That's defeatism. Surrender, defeatism, demoralize us. That's exactly the spies. Right? That's the spies, right? And we're supposed to what? Not fall for the deception of the modern day spies either. Not to give in. Don't despair, Nechama. Hang in there. Don't despair. Hang in there. Now the spies didn't lie. And Kalev and Yeshua didn't lie either. You know the story? These husband and wife came to a rabbi. That big quarrel, Sholem Bayis problems. So the rabbi says the wife go first. So she says the husband is no good, SOB, all terrible, terrible, terrible. And so the rabbi says, you're right. Then he says the husband's turn. You say. He says the exact opposite. She's terrible, terrible, terrible. He says what? You're right. So the Rebbitzin is listening. She says, Rebbe, how can she be right and he be right? She says, you're also right. Lillian, everybody's right. Yeshua, and the Ramban points out the Meraglim were not lying. And Yeshua and Kalev were not lying. What's the answer? What are you looking for? Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? The same glass, the spies saw it as what? Half empty. Yeshua and Kalev saw it as what? Half full. Beautiful. Accent the positive. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, you're only supposed to see the good. Focus on the good when it comes to Israel. What do you want to see? What are you looking for? What you're looking for, you'll find it. Many people go to the Kotel, and some people can feel the Shekhinah. Other people just see a wall. Chanoch, they're looking at the same stones. Some people feel the Shekhinah, other people just see a stone wall. Either one are not lying. What are you looking for? What you're looking for, you'll find it. What you're looking for. In Eretz Yisrael, you're only supposed to look for the good. An amazing story of the Netziv. You know Bar Ilan Street? Bar Ilan Street. His father was the great Netziv. He lived in Poland, a great lover of Eretz Yisrael. So people from Eretz Yisrael came to visit him. He asked them, what's going on? He says, oh, Rebbe, the Mechala Shabbos over here, they don't keep Shabbos, they don't keep kosher. He says, get out of my house. You're a spy. But the Rebbe, I'm telling you the truth. He said, the spies were also telling the truth. Speaking bad about people in Israel, you're a spy, get out of my house. In Eretz Yisrael, you should only see the good. Accent the positive. So the Meraglim, they looked for the negative. Yeshua ben Nun and Kalev looked for what? Who was lying? Nobody was lying. But the message is, in Israel, you have to focus on the good. You want to look for the bad? You go to New York, look for the bad there. Orlando, but not in Eretz Yisrael. Powerful message, says the Netziv. People told him, Mechala Shabbos, they eat treifa here, get out. You're a spy, get out of here. But the Rebbe, I'm telling the truth.
So I'd like
He was a Haredi rabbi, by the way, the Netziv. Yes?
So I'd like to suggest on what you said that we could look at the glass half full by the spies because they thought the land was too full, there was no room for the Jews.
No Jew, right?
Or by looking at it as half empty, they say, oh, there's all room for the Jews.
That's right. Now, there's a famous story of Rabbi Yoel Kitov. His books have been translated into English. Rabbi Yoel Kitov. So, in there's an account. A Hasidic Rebbe came to visit him from Borough Park in the 1950s. And they're walking down Rehov Yafa on a hot summer day. And some women are not dressed the way they should be. So the Hasidic Rebbe... What?
No kidding.
So the Hasidic Rebbe says to Rabbi Yoel Kitov, Feh. Also geht man ungeteen. Right? So he says to him, what are you looking? Every step you take is a mitzvah. What are you looking? Put your eyeballs back in the sockets. Why are you focusing on the negative? Every step you take in Israel is a mitzvah. Where else? Wherever you walk, you get a mitzvah. Why are you looking at the negative? You're like a spy.
Wow.
Powerful message. What we see, how do we reflect what we see? How do we reflect what we see, Avi? The positive or the negative? What are you looking for in Israel? Now, the Meraglim didn't lie. They say a land that devours its inhabitants. They said wherever we went, we saw mass funerals. So Rashi explains, God gave them the AIDS plague or whatever, that the FBI and the CIA should be busy with this epidemic, so they shouldn't concentrate on what? On these spies. So instead of putting a positive spin on it, they put a negative spin. A land destroyed its inhabitants. Appreciate God is causing this plague, so the CIA, the FBI shouldn't investigate you. They'll be busy with their plague, but no. In Eretz Yisrael, you have to put a positive spin on things, Sarah. Even though things are negative, God only wants us to see the good in Eretz Yisrael, and only the good. And this is a pasuk in last week's Parsha. If you go to Bahaloscha, you have it in your book, in Bamidbar 10. Bamidbar chapter 10. Bamidbar chapter 10. Yeah, it's all the chapters on top of the page. Bamidbar 10, pasuk 29 and 30. Moshe tells his father-in-law, we are going to the place that is only good. Only good. Eretz Yisrael is good and Nachamul good. Verse 29, by Midbar 10, verse 29, by Midbar 10, verse 32, Tov, Yetiv, Hitav, over and over again. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Eretz Yisrael is only good. Hatov ahu, Yetiv, Hitav nulach. in Eretz Yisrael, you're only supposed to see ach v'rak tov. You're supposed to have an ayin tovah in Eretz Yisrael. An ayin tovah. Many people never have a jaundiced eye. When it comes to you want to have a jaundiced eye, you got to move to Orlando. In Eretz Yisrael is only ayin tovah. Only ayin tovah. Yes.
In our Parshas, Shlach. Chapter 13, pasuk number 28.
Let me get there. 1 minute. Chapter Bamidbar 13.
28.
Bamidbar 13, 28.
The first word before what you were saying before they talked about the cities fortified and all.
Right.
They said the word Ephes. Or
Ephes.
With but. It means nothing. And
Ephes means zero.
Zero, nothing, right.
Ephes, zero.
Not only that, the gematria of that word, 141.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as Islam.
Wow. Ruben, you're scaring me. Ephes, zero, is gematria Islam. Could that be a coinky dinky?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Wow. Wow. Right? That's pretty amazing, right?
I think
Go ahead.
a good example of seeing good is when Rabbi Akiva saw the foxes run out of the temple, and instead of saying, he said, if this happens, even something...
If a prophecy for doom comes true, how much more a prophecy for good? A Jew is the eternal optimist.
Yeah.
You always have to look for the silver lining in a cloud. And therefore, there's something incredible. In Hebrew, the word nega, which means plague, has the same letters as oneg, which means pleasure. In every plague, there's a hidden oneg, delight. Nega means plague. Even Shlach Lacha, a terrible disaster. Moshe Rabbeinu sent the spies. Terrible disaster, right? But it extended Moshe Rabbeinu's life for 39 years. If the spies would have come back with a good report, Pisgat Zev, here I come, Moshe has to die right away because Moshe was not supposed to come to Israel. So by the disaster's mission, there was a silver lining. We got the privilege of seeing the Shekhinah on Moshe's face for an additional 39 years.
Wow.
Which, if they would have come back with a good report, Moshe dies right away. No Shekhinah on Moshe's face for 39 years. Wow. So a powerful message in life that every cloud has what? Has a silver lining. Very important. Every cloud has a silver lining. So whatever happens in life, what happens for a purpose, and even when it looks bad, there's got to be a hidden good. Oneg, nega, has the same letters as what? As oneg.
Sometimes you have to look very deep
To find the hidden oneg in the nega, right, Nechama? Sometimes you have to look very deep to find the hidden oneg, the hidden treasure in what? But when you dig for oil, don't you get dirty? When you dig for oil or gold, you get full of schmutz, no? Why couldn't God make the oil and gold be on top? Why do you have to dig and dig and dig in all the dirt and all the schmutz? That's the way it is. If that's the way it is in the physical world, it's certainly what in the spiritual world. What is the source to go to the grave of a tzaddik to daven? What's the source? Bamidbar 13, pasuk 22. Bamidbar 13, pasuk 22. They went up the Negev and he came to Hebron. Who's the he? Kalev went to be mitpalel in the Marach Machpelah. The other 11 guys couldn't get a permit, I guess. But Kalev himself went to daven al kivdei avot that he should not fall in with the spot. The pressure was so great that if he wouldn't have gone to daven in Marach Machpelah, he would have what? Turned a triple agent. He was a double agent, he would have turned a triple agent. The pressure was so great. The Meraglim, they were great people. They were great people. Rosh B'nai Yisrael, all chief rabbis. Maddie, what are they, off the wall? But they said like this, They said here in the Midbar, we have the Ananei HaKavod. God's glory hugging us. Come to Pisgat Zev, no more Ananei HaKavod. Here we have the man, angel food, before Betty Crocker. Original angel food. You come to Pisgat Zev, you'll have to wait to Berman's Bakery, or Angel's Bakery, no more man. Here you have the Be'er Shel Miriam. You come to Pisgat Zev, you have to drink Diet Coke and Pepsi. Better to sabotage the mission, not to lose these spiritual gifts. Says the Sfat Emes, right after the Chet HaMaraglim, the Torah gives us 3 mitzvos. And whenever 2 Parshas are next door in the Torah, surely they have to be what? The 3 mitzvos given right after the Chet HaMaraglim was Nisach HaYayin, Challah, and Tzitzit. Why were those 3 mitzvahs given after the Sin HaMaraglim? This is God's reply to the Maraglim. They said here we have the Be'er Shel Miriam, the spiritual qualities of the Be'er Shel Miriam. You come to Israel, you ain't gonna get it. You'll have the Nisach HaYayin. When you bring a korban, you have to pour wine libations. Through that act, you are sanctifying all of the Diet Coke and Pepsi, even Sprite, that you drink in Israel, has the Kiddush of the Be'er Shel Miriam through the mitzvah of what? Nisach HaYayin on the Mizbeach. What else did they say? In the middle we have man, angel food, God's own food. You come to Israel, wait online in Berman's Bakery. Through the mitzvah of challah, says the Zohar. When we separate challah in Israel, every bagel you eat is a holy bagel. Even if you buy it in Banker's Bagel. Even Sam's Bagels. The Zohar HaKodesh says, through the mitzvah of challah, all of the food that we eat in Pisgat Zev, or where do you live? In Baka? Has a holy bagel, even if it comes from Sam's Bagel. You hear this?
Yeah.
What else did they say? The Ananei HaKavod, hugged by the one above. When you wear tzitzis, you're having Ananei HaKavod. When you wrap yourself in your tzitzis, you're being hugged by God. So the message is that when God takes away a gift, He gives you something better. Sometimes you see it right away. Sometimes you don't see it until what? After 120.
I know.
So the Zohar explains why is challah better than man? Because man is a welfare check. It's a freebie. He's giving us the spiritual bread. We didn't earn it. We didn't work for it. Welfare check. When you separate challah from your dough, you are giving the kedusha of the man through your holy bagel. You are doing it. It's not a freebie. It's not a welfare check. And when we do it, Shirley, the old-fashioned way, it has more meaning and more value. What a powerful message. When God takes away a gift, He's going to replace it with something better. Sometimes you don't see it until... But that's the message. The Meraglim didn't give God the benefit of the doubt. Ibachuchem. How do you say in Yiddish? Ibachuchem. They think they know better than God.
I see it totally what you're saying, and I see it for men and women, but I don't see it for women for the last one. Yes, the ayin I see, and I see the man part with the bread, or bagels, whatever. But I don't see it for the last one.
What do you mean?
Where so where's their hug from Hashem?
Oh, Reuben's asking a great question. How come women don't wear talis and tefillin?
Because it's a reminder of Hashem.
Talis, so Rabbeinu Bechai says something incredible. He says the word mitzvah, the root is to bond with God. We need the props of talis and tefillin to remind us that He's hugging us. Right. You ladies are naturally reminded. You don't need the props. If it ain't broke, Rose, don't fix it. Rabbeinu Bechai, not me, in the year 1069. He says, we need the talit and the tefillin to remind us that He's hugging us. We need props because we're a little thick. Women are naturally reminded. They don't need the talis and tefillin. So if women put on talis and tefillin, they're lowering themselves. Chaya, do they know this? Women on the wall or women off the wall? They don't know that. They don't know the Nebuch. They don't know that. We need Rabbeinu Bachai, not me. The year 1069, the great Kabbalist. The talis and tefillin are props to remind us that he's hugging us. We need it because we're a little bit thick. Women are so naturally bonded to God, they don't need the props. If it ain't broke, so a woman puts on a talis and tefillin, what's she saying? She's saying that she's thick like a man. They don't know that. Chaya, we have to straighten them out. They just don't know.
That's like saying people don't need to be hugged and held.
But God is always hugging us, Maddie. But I can't be late to it without the props. You ladies are so spiritual. You know that he's hugging you all the time. You don't need the props. Hello? You don't need the props. You can do without the props. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So if a lady puts on a talis, what's she saying? She needs the props. She's thick like a man. She can't be late without the props. Women have a bina yetera. How do you say that in English, Chaya? Bina yetera. Higher level, bina yetera. So they don't need the props of talis and tefillin. Avi, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But obviously those women feel they do.
But they're mixed up, Nebuch. They have to come to this class. They don't realize. They think they're being discriminated against. They don't realize it's the men that need it. Because we're, Nebuch, too thick to relate to him without the props. But they don't realize that. They've been brainwashed, Nebuch. So our job, Masha, is to unwash their brain. Sunday at 2 o'clock, we have a great cheer. It's about why living in Israel, buy one, get 613. In Yiddish, you say, a wilde mitzvah. Why living in Israel is the greatest mitzvah. And when you live in Israel, it's like you do all 613. It's not hocus pocus. Why? Sunday at 2. Hope to see you then.